one of the great joys of meeting a newborn is the conversation that many people have the first time that they see a particular baby. It involves an attempt to answer a very simple question: who does she or he look like? People seem to enjoy trying to figure out whom a child resembles. And so they offer observations such as, she has her mom's eyes, or that nose is just like her dad's. Grandpa had those exact same ears. Her mouth is identical to her brother's. She's all her mom's side of the family, without a doubt. It's really kind of fun trying to see a reflection of other family members in the face of a tiny baby. Somehow, some way, the likeness of others often shine forth from a newborn baby's face in clear, distinctive, and remarkable ways, even though many years might separate them. In today's gospel passage from John, we hear, "If you know me, then you will also know my Father. From now on, you know him and have seen him." This verse is from what's called the Last Supper Discourse, a conversation Jesus has with his disciples after washing their feet. Jesus knows that he doesn't have much time left. His passion and death are right around the corner. And he seems to be attempting to get them to understand some pretty important things about himself and his mission. And one of those things is the idea that if they want to know God, they only need to look at him and his life, his love and compassion, his teachings, his miracles, his attitudes, his outlooks, his priorities, you name it. Everything about Jesus says something about God. Of course, all of us have the benefit of knowing and believing in faith that Jesus is God. But those first disciples almost certainly lacked that understanding. So when we hear it again, "If you know me, then you will also know my Father. From now on, you do know him and have seen him." Can we say the same about ourselves? Now, at first, it might seem almost blasphemous to utter those words. After all, Jesus reveals God to us in a perfect way, in everything he said and did, and even in the totality of his person, that is, in his very being. Therefore, we imperfect creatures will never be able to reveal God to others in the complete and perfect way that Jesus did and does. That simply would not be possible. And yet, make no mistake about it, our lives continually reveal things to others, whether we like it or not. In everything we say and do, we say something to those with whom our lives interact. And there's no getting around it. The question is not whether or not our lives will reveal something to others. They most certainly will. The real question is what we will make visible to others, or what others will come to know through us. In other words, what exactly do we want our lives to say? Once we accept that, we're called to be the face of God to others. We are then forced to reflect on how that exactly happens. How can you and I, with all our imperfections, all our limitations and sin, how can we help others to come to know God? Well, two things immediately come to mind, and they both mirror how we develop from infants into adults. The first is analogous to our biological makeup. God made us a certain way, in his image and likeness. And so, one of the ways we can manifest God to others is simply by being ourselves, our authentic selves, our true selves. God made us to love, which means that we are capable of tremendous acts of kindness, generosity, forgiveness, and mercy. That's just who we are. That's what lies at the deepest core of our being. And secondly, we can reveal God to others, in a sense by what we have learned and continue to learn. That is by doing our best to imitate our Lord Jesus in all that we say and do. Jesus has modeled it for us. He lived it every second of every day. And unlike many others who lived 2,000 years ago, we actually know quite a bit about him, about some of the things he did, and some of the things that he said, and what he was about, and what he stood for, and what he was willing to do and not do. It's all there for us to see, to reflect on, and to embrace. Do we want to imitate him? To live like him? My friends, every person we encounter is unknowingly asking the same question that we ask when we see a newborn baby. And they will walk away having had something revealed to them, one way or another. Who do we look like? May there only be one answer to that question.